is Win News.
Tonight, 400 cannabis plants found at a fig tree home. A father's behind bars after a wild police chase. And a multi-million-dollar link road for a ballooning population. Good evening, I'm Amy Duggan. Also tonight, an elderly woman has had a lucky escape after driving on the wrong side of the M1, and Appin businesses beaming with the opening of the Broughton Pass. Police have found hundreds of cannabis plants worth millions of dollars in a sophisticated hydroponic setup hidden within a suburban fig tree home. The drug bust comes just a fortnight after a similar major haul in Coniston, and police say there's a strong chance they're linked.
Every spare inch of this fig tree home in the avenue has been put to use to grow hundreds of cannabis plants. From the outside, it looks like any other house in the street. Neighbours today were shocked to learn what was really going on inside.
Very surprising. We don't see them at all, and we just think there's a young family there, but no idea.
Police received a tip-off from the public to uncover the sophisticated setup.
The electricity, we believe, has been bypassed as the usual case. Walls modified, power boards and electricity, water, cultivation systems in place.
Officers have spent the afternoon pulling the hundreds of cannabis plants tightly packed inside the suburban home's living rooms, bedrooms and garage. It comes less than a fortnight since police uncovered another elaborate marijuana grow house in Coniston's Winsome Avenue.
Pretty common practice now to cultivate cannabis hydroponically. They are sophisticated and they're purpose-built premises. The last one we did was at Coniston. It's in close proximity to the one today at Fig Tree, and I would probably be thinking they are linked in some way.
2 men at the home at the time of the raid were arrested and are currently in police custody. Caitlin Dugan, Win News.
A high-speed police pursuit through the streets of Woonona and Bulli last night came to a crashing halt when the driver allegedly hit a marked police car. 27-year-old Bellambi man Nathan Guerin was arrested a short time later. He was refused bail in court today.
These usually quiet suburban streets became the scene of a dramatic police chase last night. Police allege 27-year-old Nathan Guerin sped off as officers tried to perform a breath test on Hillcrest Avenue in Woonona at about 10:30. A pursuit was initiated, weaving in and out of streets in Woonona and Bulli for almost 10 kilometres. Police say it's then that the white Holden Commodore collided with a marked police car, but that didn't stop Guerin, who reportedly continued to drive dangerously towards Bellambi, prompting authorities to abandon the chase. He was later arrested at a home on Popes Road in Woonona, where police located an amount of cannabis and methamphetamine. Guerin made an application for bail in Wollongong local court today, arguing that he has a young son that he regularly cares for and that he would comply with a strict curfew. But it was formally refused, with the magistrate finding he poses too great a risk to the community. Guerin has been charged with several offences, including drive in a dangerous manner, police pursuit, breach of bail and resisting arrest. He'll reappear in court later this month. Caitlin Dugan, Win News.
An elderly woman has had a lucky escape after driving 200 metres into oncoming traffic on the M1 at Kanahooka, causing a collision between a camper van and sedan who swerved to avoid her. Police say the 79-year-old entered the freeway from the Fowlers Road off-ramp just before 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, travelling north in the southbound lane. The driver of a Lancer, a 20-year-old pregnant woman, was conveyed to Wollongong Hospital for observation. Police are yet to lay charges. A construction worker remains in St George Hospital in a stable condition after almost severing off his arm in Tullajua on Saturday. It's understood the 51-year-old fell several metres from scaffolding at a construction site, suffering a deep laceration to his right arm. Paramedics treated him at the scene before transporting the man to St George Hospital for surgery. Local, state and federal politicians came together to officially turn the sod on construction of the link between West Dapto and the town centre. The link between Fowlers Road and Fairwater Drive is stage 1 of the West Dapto access strategy, paving the way for thousands of new residents in the area.
Taking a dig, this time not at each other.
Federal, state and local government joining together to turn the first sod on the new road to West Dapto.
This will be one of the biggest capital works programs this council has undertaken.
The jointly funded Fowlers Road to Fairwater Drive link will see a new 4-lane, 1.3 kilometre road and pathway from Horsley to Dapto Town Centre, linking the Princes Highway to the M1, at a cost of more than $90 million, 60 of which has come from Wollongong Council.
The total bill will be quite extensive, but it's the pain that's being shared right across the city by our ratepayers.
The federal government has stepped in, offering $10 million through the National Stronger Regions Fund.
It is about investing in our regions, making that funding available to be able to work in partnership with local communities to get great results.
With the state government contributing $20 million from the lease of Port Kembla.
What we've seen through the lease of the port is more jobs at Port Kembla, but investments in infrastructure that just wouldn't happen.
This project is expected to be completed over the next 3 years, providing access to a population boom, with more than 20,000 new homes to be built here in West Dapto in the coming years.
By 2050, we're anticipating another 50,000 people in this particular area. So this is a vital piece of road infrastructure, as well as walkways and cycleways.
Sydney Peed, Win News.
Train commuters from Bomaderry and surrounds may have more luck making their connecting service at Kiama with the introduction of buses to supplement trains. Delays in the timetabled connections between the lines have long caused commuter angst. The local member has petitioned for 5 return bus services to relieve wait times in the morning and afternoon for the next 12 months.
We're trialling 5 return services, so 10 trains that will be met throughout the morning and into the evening, so that we can review how effectively that works, and then if it's effective, I'll be asking the Minister to make it a permanent feature.
The bus service will commence this week. It's been a tough 13 months for Appin businesses who've been struggling under the closure of Broughton Pass, but the weekend's opening has prompted a collective sigh of relief from the business community.
Very excited and can't wait, because it's so much inconvenience that it has brought to the community as a whole.
With the opening on Saturday, commuters from Wilton have had their journey reduced by upwards of half an hour. Coming up next on Win News, how UOW researchers are developing a potentially life-saving cancer treatment, and all the colour from the Illawarra Orchid Society's winter show. Welcome back. The start of the financial year brings with it a raft of changes announced in recent state and federal budgets. Most notably, the opportunity for first home buyers to cash in on a housing affordability package, which came into effect on Saturday.
Cracking the competitive housing market just got a whole lot easier for first home buyers thanks to state government reforms.
Stamp duty has been abolished for up to $650,000, which would, save first home buyers from, anywhere between $20,000 to $24,000.
The housing affordability package also includes stamp duty discounts on purchases up to $800,000. Realtors expecting an influx of inquiries and say now is as good a time as ever to buy.
Yeah, get the foot in the door and take the opportunity while it lasts.
Small business is a big winner this financial year, following changes announced in the federal budget. Extension of the instant asset write-off on purchases up to $20,000 and changes to BAS and payroll systems, making life easier for the little guy.
We're very much cutting through red tape, and that's a big focus of this financial year, is cutting through some of that bureaucratic burden, some of that paperwork that bogs business down.
This week also marks the rollout of the NDIS across the state. It's an important milestone for people with a disability, the scheme giving them more control and choice over their financial support. Participants who've already had their planning meetings will receive a personalised NDIS plan in coming weeks. Service providers keen to get cracking with the implementation of the long-awaited scheme.
We're hoping to see people bring their NDIS plans in. We're really excited to see what people have in their plans.
Jordan Matthews, Win News.
The Wollongong Labor Party branch has chosen who it wants to take the reins of a new council, but not all the nominated members are happy with their lot. Labor rank and file voted current councillor David Brown as their pick for Lord Mayor, beating hopeful councillor Anne Martin by 78 votes. Councillor Martin says she's saddened that she was only able to secure third position on the Ward 3 ticket under current elected members Chris Connor and former councillor Vicky King.
I never thought I'd support a community pre-selection, but maybe that would have been helpful. But really, I think my branch members needed to be a little bit more strategic.
Meanwhile, in Ward 2, Councillor Brown also topped the ticket ahead of Destination Wollongong Chair Tanya Brown and two newcomers, while Councillor Janice Kershaw topped Ward 1 from Janelle Rimmer. The party will confirm 4 candidates in each ward by the end of the week. A potentially life-saving pancreatic cancer treatment is being developed at the University of Wollongong, tipped to completely change the way we tackle the disease. The treatment's proving to be less invasive with better survival rates and already has the backing from patients' families.
Warren Norrie knows how tough a cancer fight can be, watching his wife lose her 3-year battle against pancreatic cancer.
And that's pretty aggressive sort of treatment and knocked her around a fair bit.
But a team of researchers is changing the way this disease is treated, developing a new drug delivery device.
Designed to be implanted into pancreatic tumours in order to shrink them to a size where they are able to be surgically removed.
Currently, the only cure for pancreatic cancer is surgical resection, but only 20% of patients are presenting at that early stage.
So if you can convert a group of the patients that they are currently not curable to potentially surgically resectable, which can be cured, I think that's a big effort.
While the new treatment approach is yet to reach clinical trials, early indications suggest it'll be able to provide the same amount of drug as in chemotherapy without impacting other organs and with less side effects, allowing oncologists to keep the tumours at bay.
I could see if we had this when Liv was there, struggling through that, even though it might not have cured it, it would have made her life a lot more comfortable.
This is the first breakthrough in pancreatic cancer treatment in 30 years, where the 5-year survival rate sits at just 5%. Researchers are calling on financial backers to help progress the study into clinical trials. Kimberly Pratt, Win News.
Thousands of submissions have been made to the Department of Planning about Hume Coal's environmental impact statement for the proposed coal mine in the Southern Highlands. The submissions close on Friday, but not before almost 6,500 were delivered to the department by anti-coal group Battle for Berrimah. Hume Coal will now take around 3 months to respond to submissions to address any concerns raised about the underground Pine Feather mine. The department says it will then undertake a thorough assessment of the merits of the project. More eyes will be on the beaches of the South Coast, with the Department of Primary Industries expanding the use of the smart shark monitoring in Kiama, Shellharbour and the Shoalhaven. 10 smart drum lines will be deployed off the coast using catch and release technology, where an electronic alarm goes off when a shark is caught. The sharks are tagged and released, allowing scientists to track their movements along our beaches in a bid to prevent further attacks. The new technology will work alongside the aerial observation flights to be carried out over the summer season by touchdown helicopters out of Albion Park. Some of the most stunning flowers in the Illawarra were on display over the weekend for the Illawarra Orchid Society's Winter Show. The annual event has run for more than 60 years, offering advice and encouraging the growing of orchids.
Bursting with vibrant colour, fragrance and foliage, some of the finest orchids were out on display for the Illawarra Orchid Society's annual Winter Show.
You've got just about every colour in the rainbow, really. You've got whites to creams, reds, pinks, yellows, and any colour you name.
It was clear competitors had put in the hard yards, hoping to reap the rewards for their months of effort.
You've got to be prepared to look after them, you know. You've got to give them what they really require: water, light and feed.
And when not being judged by 3 of the state's orchid experts, society members were on hand to offer advice to aspiring green thumbs. But when it comes to winning, Peter's still looking for the secrets to success himself.
I can't tell you much about that because I might never get to that far.
Proceeds from the weekend's flower sales will fund community projects. Hannah Laxton-Kuntz, Win News.
Sport is next, where 3 Dragons have been named in the Blues squad ahead of next week's Origin decider. Illawarra youngsters among hundreds kicking off at the Kanga Cup, and the Stingrays bite back in a huge win at home. In sport, injured Dragons pair Tyson Frizzell and Josh Dugan have been given every chance of lining up in next week's Origin decider, named in the Blues extended squad this morning. They're among 4 Blues stars battling injury concerns, with skipper Boyd Cordner and James Tedesco also racing the clock to declare themselves fit ahead of next Wednesday's match. Dragons back rower Jack de Belin has been named 18th man. If the Blues are 1-17, it would be the first time in more than 2 decades New South Wales has gone an entire series without changing its lineup. Bega's Kezi Apps and Helensburgh's Sam Bremner have headlined a star-studded Blues training camp in Wollongong. The New South Wales side stepped up its preparations to defend the Nellie Doherty Cup later this month at WIN Stadium.
Just a few weeks back into full training, and the reigning Dally M Women's Player of the Year is showing no lingering signs from a broken leg earlier this year.
Body's feeling really good. It's so good to be back in full training with all the girls, and I've been missing out on full training the past few camps that we've had, been trying to just do rehab stuff.
Apps vowing to recapture her best on-ground form from 12 months ago.
Fitness is a little bit of a problem with me at the moment, but I'm really working really hard to get back and be at my best.
She was joined alongside Helensburgh products Sam Bremner as the New South Wales side ramps up its Women's State of Origin title defence during a 3-day training camp in Wollongong.
We're always competing for our position, but that's a good thing. That's sort of a blessing in disguise because it makes us better football players and a better team.
The Blues fancying their chances of going back-to-back, with the grudge match to be played on New South Wales soil at WIN Stadium for the first time in 2 years.
To be back playing in our home turf and with our home crowd, with our family and all our good support network around us, it's going to be, a good one to watch.
I think it's going to have all the more meaning when I run out onto the field. I'm already a pretty sentimental person and I play with a lot of purpose, so it's just going to be one more thing that I'm playing for.
The Women's Blues side is due to be finalised this week ahead of the clash on July 23. Jake Keating, WIN News.
The Illawarra Stingrays are on the winners list for the first time in almost a month after thrashing Blacktown 5-0. Meantime, the Wollongong Wolves have kept in touch with the top of the NPL table, claiming a narrow 1-goal win.
The Stingrays held a slim 1-goal lead at the half, but Blacktown was pressing early after the break. The Spartans creating plenty of chances, but unable to capitalise. From the corner, it was the ever-reliable Michelle Carney who steadied the ship for the home side. Blacktown was back in their forward half with the game still within reach, but the Spartans couldn't get past a stingy Stingray defence. The floodgates opened soon after as the Stingrays began to flex their muscles. The goals getting easier as the game wore on. The Illawarra ladies cruising to a 5-0 win at home. In Premier League first grade, Kemblawarra and Olympic were locked in a tight duel. The Fury doing plenty of attacking but were unable to break the 0-0 deadlock. Kemblawarra eventually wearing down the home side to edge out Olympic 1-0. Elsewhere, Tarrawanna and Bulli enjoyed comfortable victories. The Picton Rangers pushed Port Kembla but fell short. Corrimal and South Coast the other victors. Meantime, the Wolves have claimed a 1-0 victory over Sydney United, a Jack Lombo goal proving the difference between the sides as Wollongong kept in touch with the top 6. Jake Keating, WIN News.
Competition is officially underway at the 2017 Kanga Cup. Several Illawarra youngsters are among the 380 teams taking part in this year's tournament, with sides travelling from interstate and around the world.
Team pride on show ahead of the start of the Kanga Cup. Thousands of children marching proudly in front of a huge crowd as part of the opening ceremony. In 2017, more than 380 teams are taking part, some travelling from as far as South Korea to compete. Matilda's star Michelle Heyman is this year's ambassador, the striker blown away by the size of the event.
When I got told that there'd be like 6,000 kids here from the age of like 8 to 18, I was like,
what do you mean? Like, that was incredible. For football in Australia to have something like this is just insane. So, yeah, really looking forward to it.
Heyman was in the thick of the action this morning as games kicked off, and while the temperature may have been hovering around 0 degrees, it didn't worry competitors. The Australian star aware of just how important team sport can be to help young children develop.
I loved soccer just because it was fun, and I got to do it with my my cousin, so that's the reason why I started to play, and I think that brought out something special in who I am, and it just made me become a leader and just to grow.
Today marked the first full day of competition, with games to be held right around the ACT in Queanbeyan throughout the week. The tournament wraps up on Friday. Caitlin Chalmers, Win News.
And that's our sport. The weather will be next with Tanya Dendrinos. And Tanya, the forecast chilly conditions certainly came to fruition over the weekend and today.
They sure did, Amy. Overnight temperatures were well below average. Goulburn, the most notable across the region, with the mercury dropping to an incredible -10 yesterday morning, making it the coldest July start on record, but still shy of its all-time low of -10.9. We'll take a look at today's weather after the break. Hello again. It was another cold night across the state, and today was mostly cloudy with a few light showers, leading to a sheep grazier's warning being issued for the southern tablelands today. Sunrise put on a show at Narooma this morning, thanks to Karen and Russell for the photo. If you've taken a weather photo you'd like to see up on screen, you can email it through to weather@wintv.com.au. Let's have a look at the details from today. There was a bit of drizzle about. Winds reached 32 kilometres an hour in Bulli. Another bitterly cold night in Goulburn with a low of -9. It climbed to a top of 13 degrees today, and 15 was the high at Albion Park after a low of 0. On the south coast, it was a very cold night for Bateman's Bay, dropping to a low of -2, topping out at 12 degrees, the same at Maruya Heads. -2 also in Bega last night. It saw a top of 11 today. On the satellite, cloud crossing New South Wales ahead of a low pressure trough is causing some patchy rain. On the synoptic, a series of cold fronts and associated low pressure system to the south will cross New South Wales over the next few days. On the waters, mostly sunny tomorrow, but there is the slight chance of a shower offshore, north of Point Perpendicular and south of Green Cape. A strong wind warning has been issued for the Bateman's Bay coast. Taking a look at the forecast for the Illawarra and Southern Highlands, sunny tomorrow with north to northwesterly winds tending west to northwesterly in the morning. Barrel will see a low of 3 overnight and climb to a top of 13 throughout the day tomorrow. A high of 19 expected at Bulli. Taking a look at the south coast, areas of morning frost in the south before a sunny day, dropping to 4 in Merimbula and climbing to a top of 18 throughout the day tomorrow. High of 18 also expected at Bega. For Wollongong, we can expect the sun to return tomorrow, top of 19 degrees after a low of 10. And taking a look at the days ahead, Wednesday, partly cloudy with patches of light morning frost in the south, and the chance of a shower near the Victorian border. Mostly sunny on Thursday and partly cloudy on Friday, so things are clearing up, Amy.
Great news. Thanks very much, Tanya. And that is Win News for Monday, July 3. To view some of our reports, visit the Win News Illawarra Facebook page. Join us again tomorrow at 6 for Win Local News. I'm Amy Duggan. Coming up next is The Project. Good night.
This has been a Win News presentation. Win News, Regional Australia's #1 news source.